Okay, now quickly let's see how to make a button. How do we create a button? A button is you know what a button is. It's not just a text, it's not an image, it looks like a button. Now how do you make a button? Of course, the tag for button is button. Okay, so this is how you make a button. Now this is a button, but you know that a button must link to something. You cannot just make a button and it will not link something. So therefore a button is a combination of the button tag and the a tag. Okay, and the a tag. So I'm going to copy this and put it within this button. Okay, and put it within the button. I'll say Ctrl V. You see that this will turn to a button. Now let's look at our browser. You can see there is now a click here. This is a button. Okay, and this button I can change the background of that button. I can change the color of this text and the rest of them. Now I will come here and I will say let me say button. Let me say button, and then I will say let the color of the text. Remember, when you talk about button, the color only affects the text. So I will say red. Okay, okay. I will show you why it did not reflect. I'll show you why it did not reflect. But I can change my font color. My font color here. I'll change my font color here. My font size rather. I can change the font size of that and put it to 50 pixel. We can see. Okay, it seems the 50 pixel is small. Okay, let's give it 100 and know whether something will happen. You see, do you know what happened now? It rather gave a space here. That is because we are not supposed to be working on button alone. We're supposed to be working on the text inside the button. Okay, I'm deliberately making this mistake so that you will understand how these things work. Now let me put A here. So we are trying to say this styling is for the A that is inside the button. So now let's view it. You can now see that the red has now appeared and then the font has now increased. But now we can change the button background. If you want to change the button background, we're not going to make the styling here. We're going to have another one called button. We're going to have another one called button, and we're going to now say that the background of that button should be should be black, because we already have blue and red there. So let's see what happens. You can see that it has not changed the color, so which means that with this A inside the button, we are working on the text of the button, but with this we are working on the background of the button. I hope you have understand. And now within our button we can also add something like let's make it more beautiful. Let's add the border to it to make it more beautiful. Okay, I will not add the border, I will add the border radius. And I say that border radiuses only works on these edges. It works on these edges. Okay, it works on these edges. So to make it curved, so I will say my border radius, let me say 20 pixel. All right. Okay, you can see that the border has now been curved. So that's how to make a simple button. Now there's another way to make a button. Another way to make a button is that you must not declare a button element for you to be able to make a button. I can make a button by a element only, by the anchor element only. Now let me copy this. You have to permit me to do some copy and paste so that to make things much easier for us. Now this is A. You can see it's now here. This is it. It's click here. It's inherit. Now let me quickly use this to teach you inheritance. What is inheritance? Inheritance means that if you already declared an A before and you come and put another A somewhere, it will simply inherit the styling of that former A you declared. That's just an aspect of it. I'm going to also show you some other aspect of inheritance. But now you can see that because here we have already said that our A should be a font size of 50, and by default a link always has a color of blue. So we didn't give this color. It is by default a link has a color of blue, except you come here and change the color by yourself. except you come here and change the color by yourself and then you put it red. You can see that if you come here, both this and this will change to red because this second A inherited the styling that you gave for the first A you declared. Alright, but I'm going to show you how to work on this differently and how to make them to change differently. Alright, now that is that. Now, how do we turn our A, this our A's inside into a button instead of declaring the button tag? So we simply give it a background. That's all we do. So we simply give it a border. First of all, we give it a background, and we say let that background be black. Okay, let that background be black. Now if you come here, you can see that it now has a background of black. And then we can also say now we work on the border radius, and give it 15 pixel. Now you can see that if you view here, it is now like a button. You can see, so these are two ways to make different buttons. We can reduce this text because it's quite too big. So let's reduce this font size to 30 so that it will be easier. Okay, you can see. So depending on how large what you are doing is, we can see that it can always move to any place. But why they are all packed up like this? Because we have not added any padding or margin or position. But that's not what we are into now. What we are just into now is to show you different elements, and at the end, when we are developing our first project, we are going to see how we are going to design a very beautiful nav bar and then navigation bar. We're going to put some content within the body and also put a footer. All right, so but that is not what we are talking about now. So that is all about button. That's all about button and the image link and the rest of them. So the next we're going to talk about classes and IDs. That will be in the next video. Thank you.